Let's get to Carlton.
Yes, please.
We heard from the incoming chief executive for the first time today. I don't think there's been a man who's been more speculated upon what he's thinking and what he might do than Graham Wright. He tipped his hand with the board last week, backing Michael Voss, and that was ratified. And then he made the first move today, tipping out the head of footy, Brad Lloyd. Here was the chief executive's view of Michael Voss being taken into the last year of his contract.
We looked really heavily into Vossi over the last 6 weeks or so, I think, which Rob said we'd do, calm and rational manner, which we've done. Looking at a whole range of things and talking to a whole range of people in our football department, and we're really clear that Michael's the guy to lead us into the future. He's a fantastic leader, and it's been a really difficult year from that perspective because we haven't performed well enough. As I said, 14th on the ladder. We've had a number of injuries towards the back half of the year, him blooding some young players, but then a collective view that this wasn't just a one-person issue, that it wasn't just about Michael, it was about our players. We haven't got enough good players. We're like every team, we want more good players, I suppose, or elite players, and those guys are in that category. I'd hope they're here, they're all contracted. Right at the moment, we're 14th on the ladder, and that's not good enough. So we need to be better than that, and how we get better than that will come to fruition.
So believes in Voss's leadership and coaching, believes in the game style, which took them to 2 final series previously. 0-4 at the start of the year, unsettled them, and then clearly able to say injury has played a major role. Conceded that they cut back too deep at the end of last season, so the depth has been not there or too young, and protected the core of the team, so the name players, the highly paid players, if you like, conceding that they will lose De Koning and highly likely to lose Silvani through free agency, but they must acquire, but without disrupting that senior core.
So how do they do that is the next question, isn't it? So he's said there's mitigating circumstances that find themselves in the position they're in, and that's fine. I'm not a Carlton supporter, but I can live with that. If that's the conclusion that he's come to after having been there for the season and watched it, and he's experienced enough, then you can sell that, Jared. That's sort of putting him into the beverage category of this year now. Okay, we understand this. I still think you can coach. I still think there's big upside. So now you've got the imprimatur to go after it. So they want to start well and they want to be competitive and all that stuff next year. But I don't have a problem with that. And if you had made the decision the other way, you could live with that as well. So it's a lot on his shoulders, and he's got great experience. And now it's over to Vossi and the list management team.
So the way Wright spoke is they intend to contend next year. So he's not going to pull it apart and reset it or rebuild it. They want to add. They don't have the quality of player that they expect throughout the full depth of the list, and they do believe that Michael Voss is able to return them to final.
Well, that's a challenge. Then he either will or he won't. I think they're a way off. Well, when I say way off, it's just how quickly they can add to the areas of the game that they are desperately needing, and that is ball retention and protection of the footy when they've got it and disposal. I think that's the biggest issue. And then that's assuming all the players who've been injured are back and playing senior footy. So that's totally justifiable position, not that he needs any endorsement from me or you, to take, but now we're going to watch and see how you go about it.
Yeah,
it is unanswered question.
It's uplifting when a club backs its coach, I reckon, and there are highly successful examples of it, and there are ones we go, it didn't quite pan out, but they'll run the full journey with him.
Yeah. So the full of next year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, they'll give him every chance to succeed.
And I think that's all you can ask for. Yeah. And he's contracted till next year, so he's going to have a massive summer. And the thing that he can then throw at these boys is, hey, I'm not leaving anything on the table here. So don't come expecting that we'll get it right in 18 months. So I think that's a good thing too. Yep. So if you want to play senior footy in this Carlton team and you can't kick, you got a summer of kicking every single minute of every single day. Otherwise, you don't play. I think that's a good message. One that Melbourne will embrace as well. It's the same deal.
Yeah. So Melbourne are the one club who have the coaching vacancy, and the process will start soon enough. Nathan Buckley has been thrust forward by all and sundry, and that meant last night on the couch, that seat was particularly hot.
Nathan Buckley, it's great to have you on the couch tonight.
Didn't see this on the running.
Do you want to coach next year?
I don't know if I will or not. Now, do you want to?
I don't know if
you want
do
to.
or not, no. There's a spot available now, and this is the first time that I've actually wanted to go further down the track to find out what that challenge would be and whether it would fit for where I'm at in my life as well. I took a call from Don Pike, but I said to him I'm not in the space to consider that. And I think I'm in a space to consider it now. It's more to understand Melbourne's challenge and where they think they're at, where they think they need to go forward. I am but one of many candidates that will be really good options for Melbourne, and they'll go through their process and they'll choose the person that they think is best placed to take them forward. There's multiple good options. There's multiple good decisions. It's not just one person. So I think that's got to be really clear up front. You know, I have kicked around with Tassie as well to have a look at that, but that's been dormant for probably 6 months. So that's as open as I can be about it. You might have a lot of questions. I don't have a lot of answers.
Let's play a little bit of real or overreaction with Melbourne and then with St Kilda. So broadly speaking, a deep dive on the demon list will encourage.
I think it's an overreaction because it won't discourage either. The list is good enough not to turn anyone off. I don't think it's a list that you look at, as some did at the West Coast Eagles, for instance, and go, no, that's not for me. I think there's enough there to not discourage, and if that's encouragement, then so be it. So that's where I sit with that. What about a deep dive on the Demon facilities will discourage?
Yes, that's real, isn't it? Will Caulfield happen or not happen? Which is sort of the unanswerable, right?
Well, depends who you speak to, but there's levels of confidence that they'll get there in the end.
That's the generations-old question.
Yeah. I've actually... have you been out to Casey?
No, I haven't.
No. I went out and did a thorough tour of it at the start of last year. The facilities out there are superb. They are magnificent facilities out there. It's just the getting there. And you can... That shouldn't be the millstone around your neck. We've waited since the late 70s to 80s to get a home base, Jared. So that is something that is fundamentally non-negotiable, but it can't hold you back. That can't be the reason why.
Yep. So in the Buckley contemplation is that he had Collingwood, which is just so good, so central, so well supported, huge audience all the time. So it'll be a vastly different experience.
That is real.
At Melbourne, that part of it.
That is real, Jared.
Right.
A lot of meetings have been happening at Melbourne, Scotty, of course, as they begin the search really for their new senior coach. We know they're yet to get that panel in place. That's hopefully going to happen in the next few days. Adam Simpson, John Longmire, they've both ruled themselves out of contention, but there is a man leaving Port Adelaide in a week or two's time that, you know, you would think that they would make a call to, wouldn't you?
Well, I think the narrative's got a bit confused here. Everyone's saying Ken's burnt out, needs a holiday.
I said last night he's cooked because you talk to Port Adelaide people and they say there's no way he coaches next year.
He's cooked from Port Adelaide because he's had enough. He knows his voice, this change had to happen. He understood that. Living in Adelaide has its issues, wearing down. It hasn't worn down his passion. My mail is that he's still 4 preliminary finals. He's been close to the premiership. He's still got the burning desire in his belly. So if Nathan Buckley clearly is the favourite, a long way out, if for some reason that fell over, Melbourne could do worse than Rincon Hinkley, who, as we know, gets pretty quick results. He knows he gets a fast game plan, as we know.
Up tempo.
The players love him. He's that sort of coach. He can quickly get a spike. So I think you'll find the narrative that Ken's tired and needs a holiday. He maybe needs a holiday from Port Adelaide and the Adelaide environment, but if he gets the phone call, Melbourne, you could do worse.
So you're saying that Ken Hinkley is not a no to Melbourne under any circumstances?
I'm saying he's going to finish with an open mind to he doesn't think his coaching career is finished.
Isn't that interesting? I keep thinking about St Kilda there when Alan Richardson was eventually appointed. He said no, and they went through all the candidates. Mark Williams eventually said, I'm your man. They said yes. He said, I want 5 years at big dollars. They said no, and they called Alan Richardson and they shoehorned him back in. So, I think we all love Nathan Buckley and think he would be a great coach. What if he says no? And what if all of a sudden Kenny from Camperdown finds his way to the Melbourne Footy Club? I love that, Scotty.
Don't rule it out.
It'd be a great turn of events. Of course, John, you've been all over the reporting of the other candidates too. Danny Daly, Brendan Lade, you would think are two that are right there in contention for Melbourne as well. What about the Casey factor? I mean, we're going to hear from Simon Goodwin on AFL 360 tomorrow night, which I think is going to be must-watch, of course, as he joins Jared and Gary. But he gave them a little snipe on the way through, didn't he?
He gave them the full torching, the full drive-by at Casey. And what's really interesting is you talk to people about Melbourne, and they say it was Simon Goodwin who really wanted us to prioritise Casey Fields. Now, of course, they didn't train out there all the time. So it'll be interesting when Gary and co actually ask him, you know, what did you mean about Casey Fields? And more to the point, why did you want to train out there? Because you were the one that prioritised it.